I think we should get going. All right, it's about that time. So I'm going to start on my back. I'm just going to lay my blanket up just so that my spine isn't crushed under the hardwood here. Namaste, welcome to your stability flow. So we're going to begin on our back with knees bent. So slowly curling down the vertebrae. Feel the soles of the feet connect to the earth. And then nice and slow, you're just going to inch the toes towards the front edge of your mat, lowering the knees halfway down. Keep the soles of the feet flat, keep the knees bent. Take both palms to your belly. And as we change the angle of the hip flexors, I just want you to really relax into your spine. And just from here, all we do is breathe and draw greater awareness to the flow of breath, the prana, the vitality, the circulation that runs through and beneath our skin. At this point in time, if you'd like to close your eyes, you are more than welcome to. Otherwise, just finding a point to focus on, your drishti point. That should quiet the prefrontal cortex, the egoic brain. Really feel the weight of the thigh bones in the hips. You might feel a little sensation to the lower back, or you might not feel anything at all, and that's okay. Drop your shoulders heavy. Surrender the head. And all you're going to do is just begin to feel your belly rise and fall into your hands. Allow these first few breaths to be a little bit more dramatized, really anchoring your awareness around the feeling, the quality, and the sensation of your breath in your body. Allow your breath to be the anchor that harbors you in mindful presence. As you release distractions, let go of the to-do list, and begin to utilize the physical body and the energetic body to reside in this moment. Continue to observe your breath, feeling it lift into your palms. Observing it relax down to your spine. Observing with greater curiosity of the small, subtle sensations of it. Maybe the spaces between each breath. That small, quiet moment, that micro pause before the body turns to accept the next inhale or exhale. Without creating too much force, too much effort, or any tension, begin to prolong your exhalation. We can spend just a slight moment longer in the exhalation, allowing your body to drop and your mind to calm, settle. One more breath. Let's blink the eyes open. Bend the knees once more. And then step the feet wide to the edges of your mat. Branch your arms open to cactus or a T. Just take up space. And then nice and slow with the feet really wide. It's okay if they're off the edges of the mat. Just windshield wiper the knees side to side with your breath. I like to fan the toes and keep some integrity around the lower leg. Let your breath guide the movement rather than chasing it. And again, only moving in ways that really serves your body today, serves your mind. Feel free to modify and feel free to do less of anything that I cue today. Okay, bring the knees up, heel to the feet closer. Reset the lower back, the hips, spinal neutral lower spine. Simply cross the right ankle over the left thigh, flex the right toes. Option to use your hands or a strap. Thread the needle, just wrapping the hands for the left hamstring or shin. Now I'm pulling the left knee in towards the left shoulder. Wing the right thigh bone away from you. Drop neck and head. Reset the shoulders on the back. Notice that full belly expansion with breath, right? It's pretty amazing how quickly we can tune out of that. Beautiful. Place the sole of the left foot down. Maintain this figure four shape. Keep the ankle hooked. Slowly lower the sole of the right foot, outer left thigh to the left edge of the mat. It's okay if you're off the mat. Getting this lower body twist, tent the right knee up. I'm going to hold on to my left ankle, but if the foot doesn't quite grab down to the floor, place a block under it. Begin to lean the right knee away from you. Open up the right side. Take up space. And elongate your inhalation to branch right into this right hip crease. We're starting a little bit slower today, really inviting our own capacity to savor in the moments of the practice that maybe feel a little sweeter, maybe feel a little saltier, embracing the flavors of movement, the textures of breath. Seeing if we can then take that awareness off our mat and into the rest of our day. Inhale, lift the legs. Gently uncross the right knee. Lift both knees up. Nice and slow, shift your hips an inch to the right. Slowly drop the knees to the left, supine twist. Feel free to place bolster blocks, anything underneath the knees, or modify this twist as needed. Try to sink the right shoulder down. And allow your breath to ring around the spine like a carouseling action. I really like to use breath as the tool for exploration in the moments of stillness. So when the body gets still, the breath is still moving. So there's that duality of ebb and flow. Slowly bring knees up. Reset hips and lower back. And then feeling the thigh bones parallel, hips and knees in line, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, flex your toes. Really lengthen the spine, wrap hands through that keyhole shape you have created, thread the needle. And again, I'm keeping the structural integrity of the left shin bone, I'm leaning the thigh bone away, I'm flexing the foot. But again, you don't even have to lift the knee up on the right side if that doesn't feel good. So you can even just push the thigh bone away. If your arms are feeling a little short, you can use a scarf, a towel, a tether. you can't quite drop the neck, head, or shoulders, you can place a blanket, pillow, block underneath it. And automatically, as we encroach upon sensation, notice where tension flows and builds beneath your surface. If it nestles and nests somewhere in the shoulders, the jaw, the space between the brows, can we recycle that awareness of sensation and allow it to shift and move with breath? Slowly lower the sole of the right foot. Keep this figure four shape. Sole of the left foot, outer right thigh are going to twist down towards the right edge of the mat. Keep the shoulders anchored. And again, modifying as needed with the block or the angle of the ankle and knee. Lean the left knee away from your body, opening up and branching through that upper hip crest. Create space through the left shoulder as you uncinch the neck and head. Really balloon your breath down to that left oblique, that lower back quadrant. As much as I would love to stay here, all class will slowly unravel. Gently uncross the knee. Take up space with the upper back. Lift the knees up halfway. Inch the tailbone just a little to the left, any amount, and slowly revolve your legs to the right. Supine twist. Feel free to use blocks or props to support the thighs between the knees. If there is any lower back tension, you feel a big pull that doesn't feel safe for your spine, you can place a bolster underneath your back and then a block underneath the knees and then lessen the twist as required. And that goes for any supine twist, doesn't have to be double-legged. The goal is to make the practice as available to your body as possible. Two more cycles of breath. Use your inhale, contract, lift up. Reset your hips and lower back. Good. Drive head, neck, and shoulders off your mat until your lower spine comes a little closer to the mat. Keep your hips weighted and grounded on the mat. Let's bring the legs up to a tabletop, and I even like to fan the toes. Arms reach up. Good. Now, nice and slow, you're going to slowly imagine that you're trying to touch the ceiling. Drive the center of your sternum up 2 inches. So I'm kind of resting on the very cradles of the shoulder blades. The hips are as heavy and stable as possible. Feet are flexed. You're not moving the hips or ribs. Good. Nice and slow. Drive the sternum up 2 inches. Lower down 2 inches. This is slow. This is savory. We're really beginning to stoke that inner fire. I always like to do some core work a little bit slower, really igniting the power and support of our abdominal structures, right? Getting the support of the spine, getting that curling flexion action with the rectus abdominis, getting stability around the outer hips, right? Our core isn't just our abs, it's our hips, our back, our ribs, our neck, our shoulders, thighs. So creating that whole stable integral system to support us for 10, 9, 8, stabilize hips and legs, 7, should feel a little quake, a little shake, good, 4, 3, 2, hold at the top, lift up, drive up, good, lift lift. 10, 9, 8. Don't hold your breath. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Knees to chest, rest. Sigh out. Beautiful. Keep head, neck, and shoulders down. Supine table once more, stabilizing ribs and hips. Now going in with the same side arm, same side leg. Keep a neutral lumbar spine, but really think about the mobility of the ribs and hips. I want you to stabilize. We're not flaring the ribs, we're not popping the chest, we're not teeter-tottering the hips. Nice and slow. Left arm, left foot. Move away from each other in space, any amount, just to keep that containment in the trunk. And then inhale, bring it back together. Good. Exhale, reach away with the right now. Inhale, bring it back. Good. Make sure you're not flaring the lower back. Make sure you're not popping the ribs or tilting the pelvis. Keep going side to side. Just alternating, noticing how that feels for your body. Creating that stronger bipedal movement in the trunk. Good. Last 10. I really like to snap the belly at the bottom of the exhale. Feel that extra little bringing out tone of the core. You got it, you got it. I believe that's last 6. Sometimes I forget to count as I'm focused on the movement. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2. Again, stabilize lower back. Do less as needed. Last 1. Knees to chest. Okay. Really stoking that inner fire, letting it simmer. Take an inhale. Exhale. Okay, same idea. Containing ribs and hips together in one line, finding that structural integrity of the spine. Reach the arms, dropping the shoulders down. Reach the legs, stabilizing that table. Now, opposite arm, opposite leg. So my right arm and left leg are going to reach away. Again, notice that construction in the inner core, that hold. Bring it back. Good. Left arm, right leg. Good. Keep going. And again, you don't have to reach very far with the hand or the foot to feel this. Like, I know people that get their heel right down to the ground, but I find that I get too much lower back flare for myself. So just being mindful that you're not tilting the pelvis too much. You're not popping the ribs. And again, you're holding the integrity of the spine, the belly. Everything's contained. You've got it, you've got it. Last 10, 9, 8, I should have said 5. Last 7, right, just going for it today. 6, a little bit of challenge. 5, 4, 3, embrace the inner fire. 2, last 1. Beautiful, knees to chest, give yourself a squeeze. Little rock and roll side to side, gentle cradle. Big belly breath. Good work, okay. Plant your heels down on the earth. And again, I have my shin bones stacked. I have my feet parallel and in line with the hips. I'm not letting the knees flare out, not letting them flop in. Plant your hands right down beside the hips, really drive the shoulder blades into the mat. Relax neck and head. Now with the inhale, you're going to curl up, little bridge, driving the hips forward, push into the heels, press the knees forward as if they're trying to touch the front edge of your mat. Good. Now, squeezing glutes and thighs. We're not dropping knees in. We're not letting them flow out. Take an inhale and an exhale. Feel longer in that back body. And feel like you're trying to snuggle the heels in towards the crown. Good. Keep reaching knees forward. Keep pulling heels back. Hello, hamstrings. Make them say good morning for 10, 9. You don't have to lift this high. 8. Try to keep the gaze up at the ceiling. Protect the neck. Good. No tension through the neck or head. Again, the arms are bracing down to assist. Good. 3, 2, 1 vertebrae at a time. Slowly lower. Good. Feeling that little tone inwards. Stability across the pelvis. Now this time I'm going to ask you to grab a block. Mine are fortunately very far away. Grab one block. I'm going to take it on its middle heights of my thighs. We're going to squeeze these long edges. As you set the block between the thigh bones, again, same setup. Squeezing that block, really getting that adduction of the thighs, getting those adductors to fire and pelvic floor. Hands plant, dropping the shoulders, long neck, breathe in. Root through the big toe mounted heels. Exhale, drive the knees forward. Reach the tailbone forward. Feel the hip bones lift up. Good, now squeeze that block. So the feet shouldn't be terribly wide. Feel that inner shaking quake, oh my goodness. Yeah, let it be a little spicy, right? What is life without spice? Boring. As you lift the tailbone up, I want you to really feel long in the spine. Feel that inner shaking quake of the thigh bones for 5. For 4, and again, you don't have to lift this high. 3, 2, and 1 vertebrae at a time, slowly lower down, remove the block. Good, let's plant the heels wide, just wait till wiper the knees side to side. Take up space, the feet can be on the edges or wider as needed. Reset with your breath. And imagine each exhalation is a chance to clean the slate and reset. Clear the energy body, clear the mental body. Good, knees up. Let's come forward onto all fours. Make your way there any way that feels safe for you. I'm going to just move my blanket so I've got the mat, but the blanket's gonna be close by in case I need it for any lunges. Move your blocks forward to frame the front edges of your mat just so that they are within reach. And then from all fours, really finding a longer spine, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Now, I want you to find that similar action of the front hip bones zipping into the front ribs, containing the belly, feeling it hollow in a little bit, and then feeling like your spine becomes a stable structure like you'd serve a tray of tea on. Now, pushing the hands into the ground, feeling the weight shift slightly more forward to the index fingerprint. You're gonna slowly reach the right leg back without dipping in that lower spine. It's actually a lot of work. Now internally rotate that right foot, right big toe points to the left toe. Now lengthen tailbone back, kick out the leg stronger. Now take up that dip of the lower back. So hug the rib cage into the front hip, slightly dome the upper spine. Hips and shoulders are square to the ground, look ahead of the fingers. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to tap right knee to the outer right shoulder, so externally rotating the thigh. Bring the knee out and over, again, try to get as close as you can, and then kick it straight back to that starting point, flat back. Good, here we go. 8, 7, 6, so getting that oblique crunch in. 5, waking up those hips. You're like, they're already awake, Meg, I know. 4, good, stabilize equal weight between the palms. 3, 2, flat back. Last 1, kick it back. Good, bend that knee. The right knee is gonna bend like a little flag. Now, nice and slow, try to press the heel a little higher. Feel that inner thigh bone, feel the inner hamstrings shake. Now, I'm already dipping into my lower back, so I'm really gonna try to hug the front hip and the front rib together, pushing more firmly into the ground, squaring shoulders and hips. Lift that heel higher, and already notice how my body wants to compensate there, right? Exhale, nice and slow, step the right foot forward between the thumbs. Gentle low lunge, sink into the hips. Take 3 belly breaths. Let this almost be like a reset button. You can use your arm extenders, your blocks underneath. Let that marinate the left hip flexor. Give it some reprieve. So as much as we are going to do those spicy, savory movements today, we're also going to add that little break so the heart rate comes down and resets. Beautiful, shift the blocks, plant the hands, slide back tabletop, flushing it out, cat and cow. Push the shin bones down, tip the sit bones up, belly, ribs, chest, hammock to the earth, shoulders come up to the ears, widen the sternum through the arm bones, head high. Now starting with the tailbone, firm the shin bones down, feel that action in the lower belly, round sit bones under, round lower, middle, upper back. Good, chin humbles to chest. Keep going, flowing with your breath, exploring where there's a lot of space to find movement. Notice where there is maybe some stickiness, some stagnation through the spine, through the shoulders, the hips. Good. Find a neutral flat back. Now, setting up for the other side as if doing this for the first time today, can we let go of any expectations or anticipations? So really connecting hips and ribs on the front body, slow kick of the left heel back, really stomp the left heel, drop the left hip. Hug the ribs in, flatten the lower spine, good. Stomping out that heel, and then slightly scissoring the thigh bones together. Yeah, my lower back really wants to pop just because I am a little bit hypermobile there. So I really have to emphasize the structural integrity of the core to stabilize. Good, now crown is forward, heel is back. Hips are square, shoulders are square. Yeah, here comes the spice. Tap left knee, left armpit with a flat back. Here we go. Tap, and then kick it back. It's okay if the elbow and thigh don't actually meet today. Just getting that action, that stability, feeling how the thigh bone can move in and around the hip socket. There, that's 4. Good, 5. That means we only have 5 more. Here we go. Last 5. Good, stabilize, equal weight between the palms. 4, I know it's a lot of work already. We're moving so slow. 3, flex the foot, stomp it back, square hips, square shoulders. 2, hug the lower back flat. Last 1, kick it back, good. Hug the ribs in, flatten the spine. Long from crown to heel. Now bend that back knee without dipping into your lower back. So much glute, so much hamstring. Good, now the tendency here is to drop the ribs, hug the ribs in. Yeah, and kick back, good. So already my heel wants to move away from the hip. Now, nice and slow, get longer. Breathe in, lift higher. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Now sinking into the right hip flexor again. Feel free to use your arm extenders, your blocks. Charging it forward, just getting a little rest for that right hip, right? I love stretching our hip flexors, especially in a big core activation session. They're so integral into our core. Right, they're flexing our thigh bones, they hold our legs up. That's a lot of core work. One more belly breath. Beautiful, shift the blocks. This time look forward, tuck the back toes, lift the back leg, and slide, glide, however many steps you need. Bend the knees a lot, forward fold, top of the mat. You can use your blocks to catch your hands. Ragdoll, so bend the knees a lot. And then begin to pedal, shift and shimmy, just wake up that back body. Find a little bit of space to move into. Finding those intuitive organic wiggles. I'm going to invite you to get really still and just feel gravity. How does it hold and support you? Talking in my shirt at this point. Now really firm down through the outer heels and inner big toe mounds, lighten all 10 toes. Keep the knees soft. Inhale, halfway lift. Think about tipping your sit bones back and then moving your sternum forward. Hands can be on block or a chair. Exhale, hinge. Good, we're gonna do it 2 more times. Inhale, half. Flat back, really hollow the belly in, just like we did in tabletop. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold. Shift your blocks. Step back to your first down dog. So, shortening the step. And then bending the knees a lot, really charging down through the index finger print, and then feeling all 4 corners of the body burrow into the earth. Really hug the triceps together, elbow creases are trying to turn up to the ceiling. That means armpits are widening down to face the thighs. Now, as you gaze between the shin bones, neck is long, just let the shoulders melt away from the ears, create more space. With that, keep a length in the spine as you tip the sit bones up, belly hollows in. And we're just going to begin to massage and pad the heels down. Now, down dog is technically a resting pose in flow series, but if it's not restful for you, which a lot of people it isn't, you can take child pose tabletop at any point in time. Okay, float forward, round the spine forward, tidal wave, wash into a plank. Really pull the sternum forward between the arm bones, flatten the back, and then squeeze the inner thigh bones together. As you squeeze the inner thigh bones together, traction the wrist creases back to the toes. Move the front hips towards the front ribs, move the sternum forward. Good, push away from the ground, slight dome action of the upper spine. You're heavier in the fingertips and light on the toes for 5, for 4, to stay here all class. 3, 2, the slowest lower down you can muster. 1, really lengthen tailbone, try to lower. Option to drop the knees at any point in time, release to the belly. Plant the shoelace side of the feet down, squeeze your hips into the earth so the tailbone lengthens back, and then with the hands beside the ribs, elbows clasping together, you're going to move the heart forward and then lift it up away from the ground. So all that's going to do is begin to engage through the spinalis muscles around the spine. Elbows are hugging towards the heels. That means the shoulder blades are depressing and the neck is long. Good. Feeling that upper spinal strength for 5. No tension in the neck or head. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Tuck toes, tabletop or plank. Down dog. Make your way back. Look forward, walk, step forward, forward fold, top of the mat. As you ragdoll down, bend the knees, cradle the weight of the head. Firming the feet into the ground, suction cupping the arches up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press the feet down. Feel the strength of the legs as you rise up all the way. Reach up, big circle of the arms. Lift the sternum at the top, gaze up. Now lead with the heart, big circle of the arms, bend the knees, forward fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Empty lungs, fold. Plant your palms, step back to your plank. Good, holding your strong plank, option to drop the knees, but still keeping that plank contraction as the wrist creases tug back to the toes. Glutes are engaged, squeezing the inner thighs together. Feeling every muscle begin to shake and quake. Slowly lower either all the way or halfway down. Again, knees can drop. Good, one long line. Look forward, roll over the toes as you depress the scapula away from the ears. Push the ground away from you. Really getting that extension in the upper back and opening the front body. Pull the elbows tight to the ribs, straighten the arms. Crown is high, ears lift. Exhale, hug hips in and up, round, back over the toes, down dog. Good, inhale, raise your right leg, really charge the heart back to the left. And then nice and slow, you're gonna just stack the hips. Get that lifting action through the right hip. Point the right knee up, flex the right foot, good. Let's bend the left knee a little bit more. Get into the left heel. Exhale, look forward. Tap your right knee to your left tricep. Give it a little kiss, a little tap as you pull forward, tiny little ball, tap it. And then inhale, straight, strong leg, hip square, kick it straight up. Exhale, right knee to left tricep, cross it under. Give it the tricep a little kiss with the knee, tap. And then inhale, straight back up. Good, now look forward to the right pinky finger. Quietly step the right foot forward to the outer right pinky finger. Landing into a tall lizard, you're gonna press the hands down, move the heart forward in space. Exhale, cinch the right hip back, trying to find a little bit more length through the lower spine. Now really charge up that left knee, use the strength of your hamstrings, sink the pelvis. Now I'm actively leaning into that right side just a little bit more than the left, so I feel that underside of the glute, maybe the hamstrings, maybe even that left hip flexor. Good, for 3, for 2, 1. Now really press down, option to use your blocks. Round the upper back, lift the hips, reach up, 3-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, look forward. Step forward, low lunge, drop the back knee. Option to place a blanket or a pillow underneath the back knee. Slow rise as you bring the arms up. Now think about your hips in space. Cinch the front ribs and the front hips together. Drop the shoulders down. Let's cactus the arm bones, open the chest. Beautiful, and then begin to lean the forearms back. Tuck the shoulder blades away from the ears. And allow the collarbones to broaden. Take a big heartfelt breath. Exhale, left palm is going to plant to the inside of the right foot, right hand to right thigh. Tuck the left toes, inhale, lengthen, back knee lifts, crown forward. Exhale, traction with the right hand. Begin to spiral your sternum into the right thigh, small twist. Wing the collarbones wide. Yeah, really press through the big toe mounds. Yeah, anchor the front heel, good. Now as you open up the chest, maybe you reach, maybe you don't, that's okay. Pushing the hands apart, open up some space from the ears to the shoulders. And then nice and slow with this right arm, all you're gonna do is just bend it, try to touch it to the back ribs. Inhale, reaching up nice and slow. I want you to feel the lats. I want you to feel those rhomboids begin to activate between the shoulder blades, squeezing that right shoulder up and down. 4 more, last 4, 3, 2, last one, reach, look forward. Right hand's forward, look forward. Nice and light, get heavy on the right foot. Buoyantly step, walk. Clumsily shake however you want, top of your mat, forward fold. Doesn't have to be pretty, as long as it just feels safe. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees a lot. Wrap your peace fingers and thumbs around your big toes. Padasvastasana, big toe grip. Elbows are bending out, shoulders are pulling away from the ears. Now bend your knees a lot, glue your ribs to your thighs. So bend the knees a lot. As you bend the knees a lot, you're gonna pull the crown of the head to the toes, lengthen your spine first. And then you begin to push the outer heels, pressing the sit bones up until one day, the entire body is one long line from heel to tailbone, from tailbone to crown. Yeah, it doesn't have to be today. You wanna imagine that your upper thigh bones are charging farther apart. One more breath. Rock the weight back, release. Maybe a little sway, a little shimmy, a little shake. Savoring all those sensations. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen out like taffy being pulled. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, push down both feet, reach the arms straight up. Big side body bend as you collect right wrist in the left palm. Press through the heels, squeeze the hips forward. Exhale, lean over to the left, hips go right. Inhale, lift, switch the grip, push the ceiling with the left palm. Hips go left. Yeah, hands go right. There we go. Inhale, lift, one more time each side. Whew. The longer you take my classes, the more you do them, you're going to realize that I too also don't really know my lefts and rights good last time. Inhale, lift. Cactus the arm bones, squeeze the shoulders down the back. Move the hips forward, begin to lift the lungs up. Maybe the chin rises. Feel the forearms pull back as you really open up through the sternum for 3. Good for 2. Imagine the skin behind the ears getting longer. 1, slow bend of the knees forward, fold, pour it down. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold, step your right foot back, high, low lunge, toes touch back of the mat. Square the hips as you bend deep into that left knee. Now really root the left heel and charge it back to the right big toe, getting that inner thigh contraction. Good, so left foot is forward, right foot is back. Now take one more breath. As you exhale, firm the hands, step back, 3-legged plank. One long line, hips are squares, make sure you're not teeter-tottering. Pull forward onto the fingertips, front hip bones and front ribs really anchor. Good, stabilize 5, look forward. 4, push away from the ground. 3, strong from heel to head. 2, 1, simply lower left toes without tilting the pelvis, shifting it, lift the right. Good, stabilize, look forward for 5. 4, hips and ribs stable. 3, 2, 1, lower right toes, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Option lower half foot all the way. Good, I'm shaking like crazy. Inhale, cobra, up dog. Push the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, down dog, roll over the toes. 5 breaths. So there's a little bit of spice for you there today. Can make it nice spice though, right? Again, honoring your edge, right? About a little 5 or 6 out of 10 effort and sensation. I just want you to feel your edge, not your peak. It's so easy to go to the peak when we go to the extreme of everything. So see if you can pull back and find stability within mobility, find ways to get more strength and more support for your body. Beautiful. Squaring the hips, anchor the right foot, reach the left leg high. Hips are square, hips are square. Pushing equally through both hands to charge the heart back to the right ankle. Now tip the left hip up and open, and then bend the left knee. Now reaching the left knee high, I'm not dipping into the lower back, I'm containing the front ribs, front hip bones. Okay, look forward, exhale, left knee, left tricep, 3-legged plank, tap it forward, kiss knee to shoulder, or as close to as you can. Beautiful, inhale, 3-legged dog, straight, strong left leg, hips square. Hello hamstrings, hello lower back support. Exhale, left knee, right tricep. Give it a little snug, a little tuck. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, nice and slow, step forward. Lower the back knee. Release the back toes. Squeezing left heel to right knee, creating some activation through the inner thighs. Rise up. Now let's really think about front ribs hugging in. Feel the shoulders rest down, right? As much as there is strength happening in the legs, can we find softness in the shoulders and neck? Beautiful, catch the arm bones. Exhale, let the forearms fall back. Snuggle the scapula, shoulder blades away from the crown. And maybe even lift the gaze, taking a little extension through the upper back. Doesn't have to be a lot, maybe even just lifting the gaze from the wall in front of you or whatever's in front of you to where the wall and the ceiling meet. Exhale, hinge forward, right palm plants inside, left foot underneath the shoulder, left palm to left thigh. Tuck your right toes. Inhale, charge up that right leg, really activating the hamstrings. Hips are square, you're squeezing everything inwards, pushing the crown away from the hips. Exhale, begin a traction, heart to twist into the left thigh. Begin to slowly rotate. Again, you're not putting too much pressure on the left palm, it's just there to stabilize. Now really rolling the right shoulder on the back, right index finger pointing forward. You can use a block as needed. Maybe you reach. Good, now with this left arm reached, with that right arm anchored. You're gonna slowly bend the left elbow, squeeze that left side body. Again, hips stay anchored in space. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left arm squeezes. Head is back in line with the spine. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach. Notice how much weight's on that right palm. Put some in your legs. Exhale, squeeze. 3 more. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze, reach it up and over, look forward, left palm plants in front of left foot. Slowly, quietly step forward, however many steps you need. Top of the mat and inch back, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, really press the crown forward, get long. Exhale, hinge. When you're ready, you're gonna bend the knees, lay your belly to your thighs. And then this time you're gonna tuck your palms underneath your wrist for Padahastasana, feeling the fingertips really reach towards the heels, feel the toes reach towards the wrist creases. And I actually like this as a little decompressive wrist action, little massage with the hands. So if it feels safe, you could even shift the weight side to side, massage out the palms. Yeah, so bend the knees a lot. Pressing down through the heels, again, about a fist or two distance between the feet as needed. So if the feet are too close, widen them if they're too wide, bring them more narrow. Then begin to pull crown down, right? So I'm keeping the knees bent, I'm keeping belly, glute to thighs, and then I'm sending the sit bones up. Feeling the seat widen, I really want you to find more space in the lower back, more space in the sacrum. So again, find your edge, not your peak, but a level 5 or 6 out of 10 sensation. So still comfortably breathe, still savor the moment, finding if it's salty or sweet. Maybe it's a little bit gritty. Maybe it's really smooth and silky. One more. Gently rock back, untuck the palms. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Slow rise up. I want you to keep your balance here. Make sure you don't get lightheaded or dizzy at the top. Roll shoulders up, back and down. Little shimmy shake. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace the fingertips at the top. Release the index finger and thumbs. Now, root the heels, move the hips forward. Exhale, hips go right, hands go left. Big side body bend. Square shoulders forward, square hips forward. Yeah. Big old big stretch. Inhale, rise to center. Exhale, hands go right, hips go left. Feel the weight shift to the left. Feel that left foot press down. Inhale, lift. Last time, each side. Here we go. Hands go left, hips go right. Push down to the right foot. Inhale, rise, get taller at the top. Exhale, last time to the right. Inhale, lift. Beautiful, catch the arm bones, squeezing shoulders down your back. Really tucking the shoulder blades towards each other, then down the spine. Move the hips forward, hug the ribs in. Begin to lift the gaze, any amount. Let the forearms fall back. I can like to fan the fingers, really keep energizing through the webbing of the hands and knuckles. Bend the knees forward, fold. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Step back to your plank. As you step back to your plank, really lengthen the spine forward. And then nice and slow, you're going to exhale, bend the elbows halfway. Push straight up. Good, so elbows bend back to hip creases. Good, so from plank, chaturanga halfway down, or even an eighth down. Straight up. 4 more, here we go, halfway down. Maybe an eighth down, straight up. Really hug the elbows back towards the toes. Good, 3, 2, one long line, option drop the knees. 1, plank. Here we go, nice and slow, tuck right knee to nose. Look forward, step it forward, high low lunge, sink into that right hip. Pull the left hip crease towards the right heel. Really magnetize that back left knee towards the ceiling. Embracing breath deeper into the belly, stretching out that hip flexor. Beautiful, last time look forward. As you exhale, rock the weight forward, step forward, forward fold, top the mat. Right all heavy. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold. Heel toe your feet a little bit wider, getting into Malasana Yogi Squat. So I actually have my toes pointing off the edge of the mat, depending on just what feels best to your hips. You can use your blocks as a little bum perch. Slowly drop the hips down. Snuggle triceps to the inner thighs. And come into your little squat. Yeah. So if you can't get the heels down, feet go wider. Grab a block or 2. Create your perch. And then rock the hips to those blocks. Yeah, and then get the heels down. Yeah, sometimes it's ankle flexion, sometimes it's lower back mobility. Good. And then snuggling the triceps to the inner thighs. Pull the heart forward and up. Tuck the shoulders down and back. Let your belly breathe. Let this be rest. Let this be reset as we rebalance and reconnect. Notice that egoic burn off as we kind of hit that edge and the mind starts to flutter, but then at some points in the practice, it just stills and stops and we just move and we breathe and we connect and we stay present. Good, last breath. Side out. Hands down, hips drive up. Keep your feet wide, just shift your blocks. Keep your left foot wide. Simply step your right foot back, coming into that tall lizard that we missed on the other side. We're getting it now. If you're like, where is it? I got it. Pressing the hands down, charge the heart forward. Sink into the underside of the left hip. Good, ground left big toe mound. Charge the right glute forward, left glute back. Almost that seesawing action of the pelvis, bringing one side forward, one side back. And again, you can use your blocks underneath your hands. Beautiful, pressing the hands down, around, lift the upper spine, pivot, turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of your mat. Reset your feet as needed for wide leg forward fold. So bending the knees as much as you need. Feel free to use your blocks on your hands. I actually like to pigeon toe the big toe mounds just a little. And then I really lift and fan alt and toes and drive through the outer heel edges to lift the arches of the feet. I was about to say the pyramids of the feet, and I was like, nope, that's not it. As you press down through the outer heel edges, drive the heart forward. Stay outer heel heavy. Begin to lengthen the legs, hugging all the muscles to bone. Exhale, hinge with those hips flat back, any amount. Just fold. Prasarita Padmasana. Might feel good to walk the hands underneath you a little, let gravity decompress the spine. Okay, we're gonna break dance a little, get into some slightly spicier core work. We're like, what? It's already been spicy. It's okay, stay with it. Walk the hands forward, lift up halfway, inhale. Look to your left. Pivot, turn your left toes to face the front edge of the mat. Let the knee track to the pinky toe edge and then bend into it as you walk the hands. Bring the right knee in behind the left heel so that you can take a seat on your mat. If that didn't work, just take a seat on your mat. And then nice and slow, grab one block, place it between your knees. Squeezing that block for dear life. You're going to slowly roll down your vertebrae one at a time. until you feel the base of your shoulder blades touch. Squeeze that block. Good. Now, nice and slow, lift the knees up, supine tabletop. Now, nice and slow, sunbather arms, just supporting the neck and head. We're not retching or pulling on it. You're gonna lift the chest up 2 inches, down 2 inches. Up 2 inches, squeeze that block, down 2 inches. Feeling that support, that stability through the adductors, the inner thighs. Thighs don't move in space, yeah, just the chest. Small up downs, 2 inches up, 2 inches down, 2 inches up, 2 inches down. Okay, now hold it up. Nice and slow, right elbow leans towards left thigh. Good, it's like the shoulder is trying to reach. And then back to center, we do not lower down at all. Here we go, left to right. Hello, obliques. Back to center, right to left. Back to center, squeeze that block. Left to right, back to center. Shoulder to outer thigh, here we go. Shoulder to outer thigh. Last 10, squeeze that block. 9, 8, 7. Yes, you can. We can do hard things. In the home stretch, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze that block. Reach towards the heels. You're gonna rock and roll until you can land the heels lightly. Lift the chest up as high as you can. And then with hands reaching forward, modified Navasana, squeeze that block. My legs are shaking like crazy. Lean back with a flat spine until you feel like you're about to roll on to the spine. Squeeze that block. Embrace that shake. Heels are light on the ground. Toes are fanned. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the block. Now, flatten the chest. Flatten the spine. Move the arms up. Move the chest up. Beautiful. Squeeze the block. Lean back 10 more %. Beautiful. Remove the block. Cross the legs. Fold into your lap. Good work. You'll have to message me next week and say, oh, my belly's. Beautiful. Either staying here or rocking, cradling, swaying side to side. Good. When you're ready, you can either swing the legs around or you can just rock forward onto all fours. And we'll unfortunately meet in the plank. We get to meet in a plank, right? Not we should meet in a plank, we get to. Really firing up that plank. Now, my friends, pushing the ground away from you. Tractioning the wrist creases to the toes, sternum through the arm bones, looking forward. Lift the right leg, stabilize, good. 5, 4, hip square, shoulder square, 3, 2, and switch, nice and slow, lift the left leg. Good, embrace the shake, you can drop the knees. Try not to. Lower the left leg, down dog, bend the knees, push back. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, halfway down or all the way. Cobra up dog, rinsing it out, stretching the belly. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Open the right hip crease, fire hydrant. So really hugging the ribs in, pushing the knee up, bend the left knee. Now be mindful of your space around you, just make sure you're not gonna land on small dogs or blocks or blankets. Begin to pivot on the left heel until it feels safe to maybe get lighter on the right hand, and then maybe the right toes land to the back left edge of the mat. I'm gonna straighten the left leg, push into the ground, move the hips up, and then zipper everything away from that left foot. So I'm driving the hips forward and then pulling the heart back. Let the left shoulder move slightly forward, let the right shoulder pull back, and then slowly deconstructing it, right hand down, pivot on the left toes. Contain the core, the trunk, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, look outer right fingertip. Step right foot wide to the outer left fingertip. Yeah, if the foot doesn't quite land, give it a scooch, inch it up. Yeah, so I want the heel just slightly ahead of the knee. Dig the right hip back, lower left knee. Inhale, charge the heart forward. Exhale, begin to bend the elbows to the flat spine. Lower the right elbow slightly more inwards to the right heel. Again, you can use your blocks or bolster here. I'd like to just place the right elbow on a block. If you're all the way on the ground, just be mindful that you're not rounding the back or dipping into the left side. Keep leaning into the right thigh. Ground the right big toe mound, yeah. Dig in. Sweeten it with breath. One more. Here we go, lift the chest. Nice and slow, anchor left palm, right hand to right thigh. Press more length in the vertebrae, and then exhale, sweetly twist, traction your heart to the right. Maybe you gaze back at the left heel, doesn't have to happen today. Good. I'm gonna even release the back toes, sink the hips. Beautiful. If you want to begin to bend that back knee, Again, make sure you're not gonna cramp the hamstrings. We're not moving the hips to the heel moving to the hip. Grab back for the big toe if it's available. Use a strap if you need it. Pull the shoulders wide, lean the head back. Now, notice your lower spine. Make sure you're not dipping in that lower back. We're rolling off the kneecap. We're on kind of that bottom portion of the quads rather than the kneecap. Good. If you have the foot, gently release. Plant the right palm. Tuck the back left toes. Inhale, long spine, lifting up. Push back, three-legged dog. Right heel high. Inhale. Exhale, right knee, left tricep. Kick it, touch the knee. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right wrist, angle for your pigeon, Kapaltanasana, angling it to any degree to get some deep release in that glute. So, every pigeon is wonderful and different. Each and every one of us has differently shaped femur heads. So bringing that shin bone to any angle between the left wrist and the left hip, really squaring the hips, inching the left leg back. If there's a lot of space between the ground and that right hip, grab a block, place it right underneath the glute to rest the body. Now, if you'd like, you can grab a bolster. If you'd like, use a pillow, a blanket, get long in the spine, and then bow it forward. Find some stillness as you observe that picked up heartbeat, that quickened breath. Here's the simmer within the smoke. Right, all that noise, all that chatter, that's the smoke. Where's the simmer, the marinating of sensation? How can we stay with that as we observe breath and the temperance of mind and body connection? What's nice is I don't think we did one single warrior today. It's okay, I'll get you next week. Really stabilizing through the pelvis and growing a little bit longer in the lower back. Take 3 more breaths. And lengthening up the spine, making sure we're not dropping into the shoulders or rounding. Slowly rise. Shift your bolster. Plant the palms underneath the shoulders. Press up and back. 3-legged dog. Right leg lifts. Beautiful. Exhale. Step it forward. Top of the mat. High-low lunge. Charge the hips forward and low. Beautiful. Okay. Last little sprig of spice. You're going to lean into the right foot. Really anchor the left palm down. Make sure the left palm's anchored. And then either shortening your stance with the left foot or just simply sliding the left shin bone into the right heel. Come on to your bottom. I think we can anticipate what's coming next. Okay, nice and slow, knees up. Curl down your vertebrae one at a time. You can land your blanket as needed. Okay, nice and slow. You're gonna cross left leg over right, working into Garudasana crunches. Either going for the full wrap, the half rack. Either way, I just want hips square and I want those inner thighs compressing. Reach the arms up, left elbow underneath right, twist high once, twice, 3 times. Now, pull elbows and knees to touch. Good, now this is your connected point. We do not drop the tailbone, we do not drop the shoulders. Inhale, reach elbows and knees away. Fingertips and heels press away in one straight line. Here we go, exhale, elbows and knees touch. Here we go, 10, 9, Squeeze everything to center. Last 5, 4, let it steep. 3, 2, 1, unravel. Knees to chest, squeeze, breathe. Okay, so the good news is we have one last set. Take it as you will. Right leg over left, twist high once, twice, 3 times. Again, you don't have to go for the full wrap. Squeezing hips into alignment, compressing the thigh bones, arms up. Let's go right arm underneath left, twist high once, twice, 3 times. Now, really feeling the structural integrity of the spine, it's long. Bring elbows and knees up to touch, curling shoulders off the ground. Here we go, fingertips and feet fly away, shoulders stay up, hips stay up. Good, now compress and crunch together. 9, 8, 7, 6, try not to arch into your lower back too much. Good, 5, 4, always just gets harder. 3, 2, 1, knees to chest rest. Give yourself a little cradle, a little wiggle side to side. Savoring that inner heat, that little bit of sweat, or a lot of sweat, doesn't matter. When you're ready, rock up. And then whichever foot you're normally used to being in front, take it behind. So you're just switching across the feet. I'm gonna flex the toes and then slowly hinge into your lap any amount. Make sure the knees are protected, make sure you're not sickling the ankles. And this flexion feels good on the hips and lower back. And again, either rocking in stillness or adding a little sway, as long as that feels good for your body, right? I don't want you to do anything that isn't going to support your spine or support your wellness journey, right? Wellness is a state of action, not a state of being, so be actionable about your wellness journey. That means listening in and doing things that feel good, even if it is a little spicy. When you're ready, either swing the legs around or rocking forward onto all fours. Press back to your saucy plank. Index finger pointing forward, gripping the ground, little tree frog fingers. Zippering the tailbone long to the heel, squeezing the thigh bones together, moving the heart forward, embrace the shake. Bend the elbows halfway, push straight up. Good, 4, 3, option to drop the knees, last push. 2, embrace the spice, last 1. Roll through cobra up dog, open up that front body, right, elbows tucked to the side, shoulders away from the ears. Right, you got it, toes are pointing long behind you, thighs are floating. Exhale, down dog, big sigh. Hollow the belly in as you lift the sit bones up and back. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, nice and slow. Step your left foot forward. I said right leg, totally, oh my gosh. Raise your left leg, square hips. Exhale, left foot steps forward to the outer left pinky finger. Good. Square the hips back, move the heart forward. Slowly place the back knee down. Oh, if that back leg is quaking and shaking. Moving the heart forward in space, sit tall through the chest. Ground your left big toe mound. Yeah, so if the heel's not quite ahead of the knee, give it a little inchy poo forward. Yeah, good, little toe scrunches. And then exhale, you can begin to bend the elbows, lowering down with a flat back. Make sure you're not rounding the spine, that's a compensation. I like to bring a block or a bolster, lower the left elbow before the right. Maybe you walk and reach it forward. Again, just finding your variation. That feels good on the left hip. Now, if you can't quite reach the left elbow down with a flat back, then you're just gonna stay up. Finding your lizard, finding your shape, building up your practice, right? That's why it's called a practice. Imagine if we just did this once in our lifetime and we're like, I did it, I mastered it just once. It would be ridiculous. I don't know what that would make us. Just crazy beings, I guess. Beautiful, 2 more breaths. Slow rise. As you exhale, left palm, left thigh, charge the heart forward. Exhale, slow twist as the collarbones stay wide. Begin to rotate the sternum to the left thigh. Gentle traction of the left palm. Squeezing the shoulder blades together and down the spine. The neck is long. Head is in line with the heart. Maybe you gaze back at the right heel. You don't have to. I'm going to release the toes. And then really sink into the hips. Feel this thoracic rotation here. This upper back. A little bit more space through the lungs, the rib cage. Embrace that ooey gooey goodness of breath. And again, only if it serves, maybe you kick the heel into the bum. Maybe you reach the hand back, get that quad stretch. If it's not there today, you can use a strap, a tether around the foot and just gently pull, right? You don't want to squeeze in too much or else the hamstrings will cramp and that never feels good. Good. Did you feel that? Yeah. So again, being mindful that letting the heel come into the bum rather than the bum press into the heel. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Tuck the back toes, plant the palms, charge it up and back, 3-legged dog. Inhale, reach the left leg high. Exhale, bend that left knee. Nice and slow, begin to pivot on the right foot, either staying in your fire hydrant or slowly dropping into your modified wild thing or wild thing if this is your first time doing it. Landing the left toes, move the hips forward from side plank, opening up the chest, reaching it to the top of the mat. Maybe get the leg around the toes, left toes. And then so slow, left palm down, pivot on the right foot, deconstructing it. Contain the ribs, the hips. You lose balance, it's okay. Raise the left leg. Exhale, left knee to left wrist, angle for pigeon, Kapottanasana. As you angle for your pigeon, you're just going to really find some alignment in your hips. Make sure the right leg is reaching back, you're not sickling the ankle. Yeah, good. And then noticing breath as you lengthen the rib cage forward. Exhale, hinge. Feel free to place a block underneath that left hip to support your body. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And feeling gravity melt your pelvis closer to your mat. Imagine like your spine is getting stretched like taffy as the tailbone molds back in the crown and starting to move forward. The shoulders just rest in between. See if you can even tune in so deeply that you can hear your heartbeat. Your breath has to become a little quieter. You have to surrender to a little bit more stillness. One more breath. Lift up to your palms. Slide your props out of the way. Tuck your back toes, lift up and back, three-legged dog, reach that leg high. And then nice and slow, you're just going to slowly step it, line the shin bone halfway upward onto the hip. And then rock the opposite leg forward in a safe, mindful manner so that the knees are protected, the hips are protected. Take both legs straight up in front. Move the flesh from your sit bones as you inhale, rise. Exhale, hinge, pouring the heart forward. I'm not actually grabbing the toes, I'm just laying the forearms beside the thighs, knees or shins. And I'm trying to reach the chest, the sternum towards the toes. Now I'm staying active through the legs, so even if I'm not hinging as far forward with a flat back, I'm keeping the knees softly bent, and I'm pressing the heels down to create that contraction in the hamstrings. That will begin to really lengthen through the fascial lines, the kinetic lines from the lower back, hamstrings, and calves. One more belly breath. Inhale, lift your spine. Exhale, left heel to left corner. Sole right foot to inner left thigh. Now you can take a block, a blanket or bolster underneath that right thigh just to create a little bit more base support. Just as you all know, I have tight external rotators. Rocking forward on the sit bones, rotate your ribs to the pinky toe, press the left heel down. And then with both hands gliding the outside of the left thigh, slowly pour the right rib towards that left toe, Janu Shirshasana. As you work into Janu, I really want you to lengthen the side bodies. Find a little more space with the oblique, the erector spinae, feeling the belly soften with breath.
Should I like keep the leg straight?
As straight as you can, but as long as there's no ripping, tearing sensation, no negative sensation on the hamstring. So actually like keeping a little sensation, or not sensation, bend into the knee.
Okay.
Press the heel down and fan the toes, and then just staying upright and then moving the chest outward past the ankle. Yeah, good. The goal here is either getting the QL, that oblique muscle on the lower back, or if you're lucky, a 2-for-1 deal, also the hamstring. Yeah. And if your hamstrings are pretty tight, it's gonna be quite apparent. Inhale, rise. Simply switching sides, extend right heel, bend left. Setting up for the other side, sit tall in the sit bones, draw a little more length up the spine. Rotate your ribs towards the right ankle, the outer right ankle especially. And then slowly, with a soft bend to the knee, press the heel down, begin to hinge, working into Janu. So Janu literally translates into head to knee pose, but I actually like to think of it more as head to toe pose. So you really begin to open up the lower back. So you open up through the hamstrings. Last belly breath. Inhale, rise. Let's bend the knees and come onto our back one last time. I'm gonna just spin around. I promise you there's no more crunchies. Everyone's like, I don't trust that anymore. Rolling down onto your spine. Extend your left leg, hug your right knee to your chest. Keep left palm on right shin, open up the right palm beside you. Anchor the right shoulder down to the mat, don't let it lift, and slowly twist the right leg across your body, any amount until you feel a little bit of revolution through the waistline, the lower back, maybe the hip. And then just feel your breath buoyantly reach the belly button forward and back. Notice the inner yielding as everything begins to slow down. You feel more mindful and present in your current mental state. You feel calmer with breath and slower in heartbeat, or at least on the journey there. Inhale, come back to center. Hug both knees in, give yourself a squeeze. Extend right leg. Right palm, left shin, open up the right palm. Open up your left palm. And then slowly tether the left thigh bone, twisting across. Pushing out through the right leg. I like to keep it active. Just twisting any amount that feels good for your back. And like I said earlier, you can place a rolled up blanket, a big pillow, or a bolster underneath this lower back section and then lean onto it to aid in lower back tension. If there's any discomfort, or I never want you to experience pain ever in my classes, so doing less is needed, modifying, using the props to support. Inhale, come back to center. Hug both knees into your chest. Give yourself a big snuggle as you reach for opposite forearms and elbows. Pull your knees wide. Push the tailbone long. And then option to take a happy baby or a modified happy baby. Keep the tailbone anchored, little lumbar arch. Option to grab behind the thighs. Option to grab calves. Option to grab ankles. But again, keeping the shoulders down. You grab inner edges of the feet. And now, if the tailbone's lifting, drive the hips down. That maybe needs to redirect your hands as needed. And then maybe pedaling up the legs. If that feels good. Taking any last finalizing wiggles, jiggles, movements that your body's craving. And that can mean anything as long as it feels safe for your body and safe for your practice. Exhale, release legs, release arms, lower down into your final resting pose, your Shavasana. I'm going to take a seat so that I can guide you. Now, take what you need. If you need more layers, if you need cushions, blankets, bolsters, I just want you to get as restful in your body as you possibly can. Relaxing the belly. Letting the exhale look around through the sit bones in the seat. Palms can be turned up as an act of giving and receiving energy to and from the universe, or turned down to feel a little bit more grounded in your body. So just observing what you feel is comfortable and serves today. Soften the shoulders, even tucking them away from the ears. Feel a little lift up the crown of the head, and a softening to your jaw. If it feels safe, you can half hood or fully close the eyelids, letting the eyes sink further back into the head. Iron out the creases around the eyelids as you feel the inhale through the nostrils. Feel it cycle around, warming up. Feel the exhale of that warmer air out the nostrils. As we utilize this physical practice to create space in mind, space in body, we allow for space between stimulus and reaction, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. Within that space, there is so much freedom. With that freedom, you get to create choice of how you want to move through this world and move through each day. So allowing yourself to take your yoga off the mat and into the real world, observing space between thoughts and breath, space between stimulus and response. Becoming more present and more mindful as we flow through. Let's close the hands together, Anjali Mudra at heart center, and we'll with gratitude. May you be happy, healthy, and walk through each day full of peace and light. Namaste.